Cocoa beans are harvested in Africa, South America, and other tropical countries close to the equator where there is an abundance of cocoa trees.
Cacao trees are strictly a tropical plant, thriving in only hot, rainy climates. Cacao trees produce cacao pods filled with seeds from which cocoa beans will later be produced. The farmers use machete technology to prune their trees. Factory-made machetes are simply constructed, consisting of a steel blade and wooden handle. After harvesting, the pods are split open and multiple seeds are scooped out and placed into sacks and other sturdy containers. The gathered seeds are emptied into bins and left to ferment for about 5 days. This is the time when the seeds develop their rich brown color, aka cocoa beans. The beans are then dried to be preserved, a 5 to 7 day long process. The dried beans, now raw cocoa beans, are bagged, taken to market, and shipped to Hershey manufacturers. At the factory, the beans are inspected and stored. Each bean must also be tested and approved before use. Yes, every bean. The beans are then placed on a conveyor belt, also made of steel, where they are sorted and cleaned. The beans are then roasted in large, steel, rotating cylinders. Once cooled, they are placed in yet another steel machine where the shells are broken away, leaving only the inner part of the cocoa bean. These bits, also known as nibs, are now ready to be. They are then brought to grinding mills where they are crushed within a series of steel grinding stones. This creates a shiny brown liquor known as chocolate liquor. The chocolate liquor can be used for producing either chocolate or cocoa.
The next ingredient is cocoa butter.
The chocolate liquor is compressed by steel hydraulic pumps, creating a cocoa powder. During this process, the cocoa butter is strained during compression. This cocoa butter is then gathered for later use of the chocolate making process.
The third ingredient is sugar. Sugar is found in sugar canes and plants known as sugar beets. Most of these plantations are located in Brazil. Sugar is found in sugar canes and plants known as sugar beets. Sugar is found in the stalk of the sugarcane and in the root of the beets.
These items are received by machete for the sugarcane and by hand for the beets. These are then transported by truck to a sugar processing plant where they must extract the sugar from the stalk and root. They do this by pulverization, which takes place in a steel grinding machine where water is added to create a juice-like substance. The juice is then boiled in steel furnaces where it is crystallized. The crystals then are run through a steel centrifuge where they are separated from the syrup. The crystals are then passed through various steel machines where they are cleaned, filtrated, and purified, forming pure, white sugar. The sugar is then transported by either ship or plane to Hershey manufacturing companies.
The fourth ingredient is milk. Milk is produced from cows, mainly in the countries of the Western Hemisphere. Hershey, however, mainly receives their milk from the state of Pennsylvania.
During the milking process, the milk is pumped from stainless steel pipes into a steel storage tank. After this process, a road tanker with a double insulated stainless steel cooler hauls the milk from the farm to the plant. When it arrives, the milk goes through various tests, all testing for wholesomeness. These test for bacteria, protein, and fat content, and other hygienic tests. Next, the milk is pasteurized by various methods of heat treatment. The final step is packaging, where the milk is stored in airtight packaging and sent by truck to needing manufacturers, such as Hershey.
The United States is globally the leader of soybean production.
The next ingredient is soy lecithin, which is derived from soybeans. Soy plants are grown in large plantations and harvested by large steel combines. The combine divides the soybeans from the pods and stalks. Once the soybeans are separated, they are loaded onto a truck to be transported to manufacturers. When the soybeans arrive, they are passed through more steel machines where they are cleaned and dried. Their shells are removed, also by machine, prior to oil extraction. First, the soybeans are cut by the blades of a machine and then placed into an evaporator where the oils are extracted from the soybeans. After many series of purification, the soybean oil is hydrogenized to further concentrate the fat content. After this mixture leaves the steel centrifuge in which it is mixed, the final product is soy lecithin. The soy lecithin is then packaged and transported by truck to manufacturers such as Hershey.
Vanillin is derived from the vanilla plant, which is mainly harvested in Madagascar. The last ingredient is vanillin. The vanilla plants are harvested from the plantation where the seeds are separated from the plant. They are then packaged and sent to a processing factory for further production. Hershey bars are packaged within a wrapper. The wrapper is consisted mainly of plastic. The plastic is crafted mainly from petroleum received from the Middle East. The petroleum is drilled and transported by ship to a refinery where it is melted in a furnace. This is an example of what melted petroleum looks like.
It is then cooled to form small plastic pellets. The pellets are then fed through a steel machine that thins the plastic through slot extrusion. It is then stretched by another steel machine, making it the consistency of a candy wrapper. The wrappers are then dyed to create the specific display of Hershey milk chocolate.
Now it is time for the production process. The main ingredients in this chocolate are chocolate liquor, cocoa butter, milk, and sugar. Milk and sugar are each combined in large steel tanks where they are then piped away to the main blending station. Once combined, the chocolate liquor is then added to the mix. This mixture eventually becomes a powdery substance known as chocolate crumb. Cocoa butter is then added to the chocolate mixture.
This mixture is then constantly rolled and refined, making it the smooth consistency of chocolate. It is then further smoothed by a process known as conching, where it is poured into a large pool and constantly mixed by steel whisk-like structures for up to 7 hours. The smooth chocolate is then poured into plastic molds upon a conveyor belt. Air bubbles are then removed by a bumpy, vibrating ride that helps settle the chocolate. They are then sent to the cooling tunnel, and as soon as they are cooled, they are removed for wrapping. The chocolate bars are then each individually enclosed in a plastic wrapper that is applied by a fast-paced machine. These Hershey chocolate bars are then packaged and sent to various stores worldwide.